Africans can only make it if we decide to unite and become one thing. A lot of things are happening in Africa right now, and it's becoming more difficult on us. It's becoming very hard on us. We are finding it so difficult to come about some many other things here in Africa because sometimes there is some kind of disunity in us. Number one, you should start by loving the motherland, by loving the Africa itself as a country, by loving Africa as a continent itself. That should be the number one thing you should do. Okay, because the moment you have that kind of love for the motherland, the moment you have that kind of love for Africa, that means you'll find it very easy, and you will not be forced by someone or by anybody else, whoever that is, to fight for the continent of Africa. It will be very easy for you to fight for the continent of Africa, because fighting for something that you love, it's very easy than fighting for something that you hate, or rather fighting for something that you don't have a relationship with it. You don't have a good relationship, or rather you don't have a strong relationship with it. So the number one thing we should do right now is to love the continent of Africa, the motherland. Find a way of loving the motherland. The moment you love the motherland, it becomes very easy for you to be able to fight for the motherland. Okay? Because Africa is sinking and Africa is falling. But we, we are the only people who are going to save Africa, because Africa will not save itself. Africa would have the opportunity or the potentials or the capabilities to save itself. It would have saved itself a long time ago. But we, the people, we have power. Okay? Africa does not have power as a continent. But we, the people, we have power, because even the things we are having as Africans in our continent cannot speak for themselves. The resources and all the things we are having cannot speak for themselves. They cannot stand for themselves. They cannot come out and say things and say, like speak, say, we are the resources of Africa and we are strong. No, it needs power from a certain individual, from you and me as black people, to be able to stand up and say and fight for the continent of Africa. But fighting for the continent is not going to be that very easy. Fighting for the continent is going to be very hard. It's going to be very difficult. It it takes you to have created, or rather to have developed, a certain kind of love for the continent of Africa, for you to be able to love the continent of Africa, for you to be able to fight for the continent of Africa. Okay? A man can only fight for a woman that he loves. A man cannot fight for a woman that he does not love. Number one, there must be some kind of a love trust between the two of you before you begin fighting for this woman if you are a man. Okay? So the only thing that makes a man fight for a woman, it's the fact that this man loves this woman. But you cannot fight for a woman that you don't love. Okay? You can only fight for a family that you love. If between you and your family there is no traces of love, it is very difficult for you as a man to be able to fight for that family. Okay? There should be some kind of bondage between you and that family. Africans in diaspora, start creating some bond between you and the motherland, because you do not come from the United States, or rather from the UK. You don't belong to Jamaica. You do not belong to Grenada, to Haiti. That's not your place. You belong to Africa. And if you want Africa, if we want Africa to come back to its state, to come back to its value, if you want Africa, if we want the free Africa, the Africa that is going to fight for itself, the Africa that is going to govern itself, the Africa that is not going to be manipulated, the Africa that is not going to be kutawaliwa, to be reigned, people, foreign people to come and reign in Africa. If that is the kind of Africa that we want, we need to fight for this continent. We need to fight for this motherland. But fighting for the motherland, does not come easily. It's not something you wake up one morning and begin doing it. Number one, there should be a relationship between you and the motherland. There should be a relationship between you and your fellow black man, your fellow black brother, your fellow black sister, your fellow black kid who is also an African. There should be some kind of a relationship between you two. The two of you should have a good relationship. The two of you, or the three of you, or the four of you should have a relationship, a good relationship, or rather, should have some kind of love for the motherland, for the continent that you want to fight for. It will be very easy then for you to fight for that continent. What am I saying? Unity is something that can really unlock a lot of things. When one person starts fighting against a crowd of people, it becomes very easy for that man to be able to conquer all those people that he is fighting with. But when this one man adds another human energy and become two people, yes, it can be still hard, but it's more easier than when he was alone. When they become three, they keep on reducing the load. When they become four, the load reduces even more. What am I saying? Unity is strength. When we are united, when we speak the same language, when we do the same things, when we think together, we put our minds together, we think together, we speak the same language, we speak the same things, we bring on the table the same narratives, okay? We fight the same battles. It's going to be very easy for us to be able to retain Africa, to bring Africa, to restore Africa back to its initial state, okay? So the issues of some people I've come across a video when a black man is in America, and this black man is actually, I don't know what was he doing. Was he condemning a fellow black man? Like, you find a black man in trouble, you are a black man, you are also again trying to fight or trying to oppose this black man, okay? And it becomes very hard sometimes for me to understand. Let me tell you something. If I find a black man for example, if it's me, I live in a white man's land, and I find a black man being mistreated, it doesn't matter whether I know this person or I don't know this person, but I cannot allow that to happen. I will go there, I will react, because in my mind, I love sometimes how diasporans, the people from diaspora, I love how they do things sometimes. When you go to diaspora, if you're an African, you're coming from Kenya, you're coming from Uganda, you're coming from Tanzania, you're coming from Angola, you're coming from Zimbabwe, you're coming from Cameroon, you're coming from Ghana, you're going to the United States. When you get to the United States, all black people, they live like brothers and sisters. They don't ask themselves, where are you coming from? Are you coming from Cameroon? Are you coming from... No. A black person. That is how they refer to themselves. My fellow black person. He's an African. That is what they say. He's an African. Yeah, where are you? Are you an African? Anytime, whenever you see the skin color that looks like yours, you just feel good. Okay? That is what we're supposed to be embracing right now. Because when we are united, when we come together, it will be very easy for us to fight the enemy. But the enemy sometimes is very happy the moment he sees people, or rather black people, Africans, being scattered. He feels the enemy feels very good, and he feels like, I'm gonna make it here again, because it is his happiness when we are scattered, when we are not together, when we aren't thinking together, when we are not doing things together. Okay, he feels so bad. He feels so good. I mean, and that's the reason for Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism means love between Africans, between me and you as an African, as black people. Okay, Pan-Africanism means you loving your brother as an African. You joining hands together, you and your fellow black person. You fight for the continent of Africa, for the motherland. Okay, because when we are talking about Pan-Africanism, we see a lot of people coming in the picture. We see a lot of people coming in the picture. We have seen people who have been fighting for the land of Africa for quite some time, for quite some long time. They've been fighting for the continent of Africa. And these people used to speak the same language. If you can put here all Pan-Africanists, let me tell you something. If you can put here all Pan-Africanists right now, in different occasions, them giving their speeches in different occasions about Africa, when you go and collect those speeches differently and start listening to them one by one, you'll realize that a lot of them, or even all of them, they're speaking the same language, and everything they have spoken in their speech, to some point they connect to each other. Okay, so we need to learn how to speak the same language and support people who are fighting for the continent of Africa, for the motherland. The likes of people like Ibrahim Traore. I believe, or I want to believe, that right now, all Africans would have come out and started doing the works that we are doing. All Africans, everybody who loves the continent, everybody who loves the motherland would have come out and started singing and started talking about Ibrahim Traore. Started actually elevating him and giving him support, the support that is needed, so that he can be able, because he has already proven that it is very easy for us to get out of the imperialism and to do away with the colonialism. Okay, to do away with the colonialists, to do away with the Europeans. Like, it's very easy. Okay, sometimes it's hard, but it takes a decision. He has already proven to us. He has told us, he has shown us the way, that this is the way to follow. If you want to do this, if you want to come about this issue, go this way, use this way, use this way. Already there is a way that has been opened. It's us as Africans to come together, unite together, join our hands together, okay? And decide we are going to follow this way that Ibrahim Traore has shown us. We are going to follow this way. This is the way to follow. And this is where we are going to this is the path that we are going to use. Okay, but it is very sad and it's very annoying and frustrating when somebody like Ibrahim Traore would be fighting for the continent of Africa, and some other Africans were just quiet. There is nothing we are saying. We're not talking about it. We're just quiet there. And you find some leaders, the African leaders, the politicians are in government. They're not talking about anything. Instead, they just want to continue making the master feel good and making him happy and attending to his to his calls and doing things that he wants them to do. They don't even fear that they are heads of state. They're just doing it blindly because they are given something and it feels good for them, so they continue doing the same thing. Okay, it is clear, and it's an indication that these people cannot change, and it's not about the fear, having the fear, because if it would be about fear, then Ibrahim Traore wouldn't have come out. But sometimes we need to lose the fear, okay, because it is very easy for one person who is fighting for the continent of Africa to be eliminated, but it's very hard for a lot of people, for the 54 people who are fighting for the continent of Africa to be eliminated. Because the moment every other leader becomes or starts doing starts fighting or start protecting Africa, start defending Africa, the moment every other leader starts doing that, I tell you, all Africans, people, youths, and everybody will stand up and say no to the imperialism, say no to the colonialism, say no to the oppressors. Okay, they will stand up, all of them, and the moment they stand up, that means they have already given you support, and it's going to be very easy for you to be able to come about this issue easily. Okay, and so life sometimes needs people who are ready to come together and hold their hands together and start fighting when they are holding their hands together. Because at the moment we are scattered, the enemy feels so good. It feels very good. Okay, it feels like now these people are scattered, and the moment these people are scattered, now it's going to be very easy for me to get in and fight, get in and strike. But the moment we are united, it becomes very hard for the enemy to strike you people, for enemy to kill you people. It becomes very difficult. So we need to come together. Let us restart our minds. Let us learn to understand that the freedom we are looking for, it is not a personal freedom. It is not a freedom that belongs to me as Atamba alone. It is not a freedom that belongs to someone who is in diaspora alone. It's not a freedom that belongs to someone who is in Caribbean. It is a freedom that belongs to all of us black people. It's going to be very easy for a black man in Caribbean to come back to Africa if Africa has the freedom that we are looking for. It's going to be very easy, and you will see even blacks from diaspora packing their things and coming back to Africa. Because Africa has gained back, like Africa has the freedom that it was supposed to have. Okay, let's build our own rules and regulations. Let's govern our own selves. That is the only thing that will make them be able to come back to Africa very easily. Okay, but right now it still becomes very hard. So when we are fighting for the land, when you're fighting for the motherland, we are also fighting for our brothers and sisters who are enslaved in a foreign land. They've lived there their all years. They're all like all their years they've been living there. They've been there all their years. Okay. So when we are fighting, we need to understand that we are also fighting for them. We are also fighting for those ones who are in diaspora, so that they can be able to one day come back to Africa. Well, they can be able to come back to Africa and feel comfort in Africa. That is what we are doing. You're not doing it for yourself. I'm not doing it for myself. We are doing it for ourselves, all of us, as one people. And that is what we're supposed to do. I want you to watch this video, and then we shall come back and talk about it.
What is Pan-Africanism?
Pan-Africanism, if I was to sum it up in 3 basic principles. Number 1, all African people are one family. Whether you're in South Africa speaking Zulu or Xhosa, whether you're in Nigeria speaking Yoruba or Igbo, whether you're in Kenya speaking Maasai or Kikuyu, whether you're in Senegal speaking Wolof or Mandingo, whether you're in South Bronx speaking Ebonics, or in Haiti speaking French, or Brazil speaking Portuguese, we one family. And it doesn't matter what your religion is, whether you're Muslim or Christian or traditional African spiritualist, whether you pledge allegiance to this flag or that flag, whether you're light skin or dark skin, straight hair, nappy hair like mine, one family.
Yeah.
And we should identify on the level of our Africanity first. Being African is more important than anything else. Why? Because God made you an African. Everything else you belong to, you chose. You can leave Christianity tomorrow. You can leave Islam tomorrow. You can renounce your South African citizenship tomorrow. I could give up my American citizenship, so-called, tomorrow. You understand? I could never give up being an African. God made us African, and that's what we should identify with first.
Do you believe in the history and the science that man originated in Africa?
Oh, absolutely. It's indisputable. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because right now in America, we have a ridiculous dialogue going on because there's some reactionary, self-hating Africans who are trying to convince other American Africans that they don't come from Africa, that they were already in America. They're positing that America, the American continent, was a cradle of civilization. Mind you, no scientific research at all backs this theory up. Okay.
Even Europeans can't dispute.
It's indisputable. The Chinese just came out last month. One of the top geneticists in China who now stated that their first ancestor in China was an African, and every Chinese carries the DNA. The East Indians have already done this. Mexicans have done it. So you mean to tell me the people in the diaspora who look the most like the African American, you have nothing to do with Africa genetically? It's ridiculous. But we have to look at the mentality behind that. Nobody wants to be on a losing team.
True.
And until African people start winning globally, nobody wants to be a part of us. This is why you have Spanish-speaking Africans in the Caribbean who will call themselves Latino or Hispanic. They're Africans, but who wants to be part of a losing team? It's just like when you go throughout Africa, it's not, I still run across Africans who will tell you I'm French, I'm British. You understand? Because nobody wants to be part of a losing team. But the minute African people get our situation back in order, everybody who don't want to be black will proudly return to the race. We have to give them something to be proud of. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said, the white man has made being black a curse. I'm going to make being black a blessing. He said we have to sell being African back to the African.
Thank you. Africa, we need to unite. As Pan-Africanists, we need, in fact, all of us should be Pan-Africanists. All of us should start talking about Africa. Let it get hot to an extent now. They cannot talk again. Let it get hot to an extent when they feel they want to push, it becomes very hard. The load becomes very heavy for them to be able to push. So that is what I want to talk about this morning. I felt like I should talk about this because unity is strength. When we are united, we become more stronger. We become more favorite people to win this battle because the battle is on the way and the battle is here. We can only be able to fight and win that battle if we can all join hands together. A black man, a black life matters. When you see when you see your fellow black man, treat them well, treat them good, treat them fairly. Treat your fellow black man like your brother, like someone with whom you and him, you're coming from the same womb. You're coming from the same mother. Treat black people like your brothers and sisters. Treat them like your kids. Okay? If you meet your black person into a foreign land, treat them the same. The moment love entails, like the moment love starts being traced between us as black people, it becomes very easy for us to conquer. It becomes very easy for us to conquer. I'm telling you the truth. So let us start doing these things. Let us start doing these things because love will make us conquer. Togetherness, unity will make us conquer very easily. Supporting each other will make us conquer very easily. That is why when I get to this African streamline, when I get to this space, when I get to this platform, I would never fail to announce, I will never fail to mention Ibrahim Traore because Ibrahim Traore is doing a good job. He is really struggling to restore Africa. To restore Africa because now he is influencing people. He started, Chiani followed, Goita followed. A lot of people they're now borrowing from the character of Ibrahim Traore. Now they are following. We lead by examples. Do something. That we do something that can be used as a tool to save Africa. Okay, and when we see it, we shall talk about it. We shall make it go viral. We shall make it known so that other people will get interested in whatever you are doing, and also they'd want to do the same thing. But number one, Africa must be restored. Africa must be revolved. And for us to do that, we need to be one thing. Love your friend, love your neighbor, love your sister, love your brother, love your mother, love your father, love even people who you don't know, you haven't spoken to them before. The only thing you don't need to love, do not love your enemy. Do not love your enemy. They say that we should be praying for our enemies and love them. These enemies are the ones who are killing us. One time we loved them. One time we welcomed them into our countries, into our continent. One time we welcomed them into our land. And at the end of the day, we saw fire by our own eyes. We went through all kinds of problems. We really struggled and we felt like it was just something that is very, very frustrating after welcoming them to our land. Do not massage a snake when it's young, because when it grows old, it still remains a snake. It never changes. A snake is a snake, whether young, whether old. You'll be massaging it when it's still old, when it's still young, but when it grows up, it still remains a snake. That is a say from Julius Malema. That is a say from Julius Malema, the one and only Pan-Africanist from South Africa, in Africa, our good Pan-Africanist Julius Malema said that. So let us learn to do things. Let us learn to do things in one accord. Me and you, we all as black people together as one, we join our hands together, we fight for the continent of Africa, we fight for the motherland, we fight for the people of Africa, and at the end of the day, we're gonna make it, we're gonna emerge victorious, because we would have done things and united, we would have joined hands together the way we are supposed to. Thank you so much for joining this morning from wherever you are. I don't know at which time are you watching. There are people, like, for example, in the US, it's in the evening right right now, I think so, if I'm not wrong. And thank you so much for being here. I told you all the times that African Streamline is your space. This is a place for you to be. Keep coming in all the times. Keep staying here. Do not go far. When you've decided to be in African Streamline, just keep staying in African Streamline. Again, there is many other Pan-Africanist platforms out here. There are many other people who are talking about Africa, about the well-being of Africa. Meet them, pay attention there, visit their channels and see what they have to do, because it's something that we are doing as one people. It's something that we are doing as one people, one color, one family. That is what we are doing. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for loving me. Thank you so much for supporting me. I really salute you at all, like everywhere in the world, from Caribbean, from diaspora, everywhere, even in Africa. There are many fans also in Africa. There are many fans. One of my many fans are coming from the United States, and I love you guys so much. May God really bless you so very much. May God bless you so very much. Keep on tuning in, keep on staying here for 10 over 10 content. Afrika ni nyumbani, hiyo ni lugha ya Kiswahili. When I say Afrika ni nyumbani, namaanisha kwamba Africa is home. Okay. When I say Afrika ni nyumbani, in English I mean, when I say Afrika ni nyumbani, I mean Africa is home. Okay? When I say Afrika ni nyumbani, I mean Africa is home. That is Kiswahili. And whatever belongs to Africa belongs to us. Na chochote kinachohusu Afrika kinahusu mimi na wewe. So that is Kiswahili in Kenya. And now, thank you so much, and continue staying and tuning in. Adios, guys.